video to tell you you need to keep your eyes out, people of this world all over, for 11/5/2017. Yes, 11/5/2017 of this year. It starts on 11/4/2017, and it's taking place in Warwick, New York. And this is a huge event, so big that people from all over the globe are joining forces together to make a stand, to march as one, to give our voice for those that don't have one. Everybody has freedom of speech. Yes, in a lot of places. And then there's places where nobody has freedom of speech. And even in a lot of places where you would think everybody has freedom of speech, there really isn't freedom of speech, because some people are told to do this. Speak or say a word, and hush underrated. Now wait a minute, what does this have to do with 11/5/2017? It has to do with a serious situation that is taking place that has been going on for years and nothing has been done. Now we live in an era where there's internet and people can get information. Boom! Just like that. You can be on a PC, a tablet, a cell phone, such as I'm doing this now. But there's an issue where a bunch of us, in a sense, need to go, and I have this little scarecrow. And we need to go shake up some stuff and be like scarecrows. And we need to let the Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses organization, know that we aren't going to tolerate what they've been doing, because we have an issue. They have lots of different issues, and you may be thinking, well, wait a minute, what are these issues? What are your facts? How can you say that? Are witnesses just the people that go to your door knocking, waking you up early Saturday and saying you need to be saved if you want to live in a paradise forever? And wouldn't that be beautiful? And wouldn't that be nice? And wouldn't you love to be able to live forever with no war and peace and happiness on earth? And aren't they just those people that don't support the army, are, brothers and sisters of the army that are fighting, to protect us and to do good deeds, like the American Red Cross? They don't support them. I was taught not to donate to the American Red Cross, and I love the American Red Cross, and here they're going for Florida, and they've already got how many people going from the American Red Cross to help out? Like, that is amazing. And where's the Watchtower? Just throwing that in there really quick, okay? But getting back to my point, 11/5 of this year, yes, people, we are gathering in Warwick, New York. There's been a press release. Some media has already been contacted and different things. You can find, I'm sure, the press release if you start doing searches and different things to give more detail, because there's so much to really add. These aren't just the people that go knocking on your doors and preaching and stuff like that. They have a blood doctrine where children are dying, and they even exploited on a Watchtower cover. I remember seeing this Watchtower cover. I used to have a copy myself, stating that these children on the front, okay, and their stories inside, that they gave their lives for Jehovah, their dedication, and we should look to them as models, as role models, as these children who died for Jehovah. Now, I'm a mother myself, and if my child needed a blood transfusion, you better believe they're getting a blood transfusion if it's going to save their life. Because I would take a bullet for my child. Now, I don't know how any parent in their right mind could refuse a blood transfusion, but it goes even deeper than that. There's a case of a young mom She could have been saved. Doctor knows for a fact he could have saved her life. But she refused a blood transfusion. But she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. And now this baby girl has to grow up not knowing her mother, not knowing her scent, not knowing anything about her, no memories for story time and singing or, just funny jokes and, things like that. She's always going to wonder, and then maybe in the back of her mind she's going to start blaming God and hating him, saying, why did you have to take my mom? Why did you have to be so evil? Why did she have to die? Why couldn't you have let her take in that blood? And it's just crazy, but I know probably deep down, mentally, in the mother's mind, she thought she was doing the right thing. But in reality, she wasn't going with her heart. And that's where we all need to go. With our hearts. Sometimes our hearts, has the greatest ability to lead us to many different things, to help overcome depression and stuff. Because suicide rate is super high within the Watchtower organization. Because of the mental anguish and stuff kids have to endure. They're told you can't join sports. They're told, you can't, no track team for you. You can't be on a band. So many different things. And can't hang out and associate with kids that are worldly. Okay? These children are grown up and programmed from the day they are born for the parents that remain in the truth to certain tactics and teachings. Their world is different than the rest of the world's. They're told not to get a higher education and not to become doctors and lawyers and things and police officers. And it's sad because we know that's what, Jesus, and I'm not here to preach to anyone, but if you go by a Bible and you've read it, wants us to enjoy our lives, but he also wants us to become those doctors, and perform acts of miracles to help save someone's life. Like he did. He saved people's lives. Yes, he had a power beyond measure, if you believe in him, but if you don't, then it's just a story, and I can give this example. And, he turned out just like numerous amounts of food into something, for tons of people by just taking a little tiny piece of bread. And he could say, okay, boom. Now I can feed how many people? Yeah, because he could do miracles and different things. Well, with us, getting your education, learning how to do open heart surgery, that can be a miracle in itself, having those steady hands and things, so someone can have another 10 years because things happen within our lives. But I want to, get back, to like stuff is a child is told all these things, and then all of a sudden you got this child, and this child starts hearing all these talks of death, and your family's gonna die and your loved ones are gonna die, because Armageddon's coming, and just you need to not think about them, you need to forget about them, kind of like they tell you to kind of like push them off and keep your eye on the prize, keep it on that kingdom. But then you got this issue with the pedophiles, over 1,000 unreported in Australia alone. And this is a religion that sat and said the Catholics were bad for what they were doing. And they would give talks and say, we don't have Sunday schools here, and aren't you glad? And isn't it much better for you not to have to worry and know that, hey, your child's sitting right there next to you, and you can keep an eye on your child, and they're not, chance of them getting molested, because they would talk about the Catholics, how bad they were, and how kids were getting molested in Sunday schools in different parts of, the church and all these other different things. And especially they really brought it up when it was brought out into the news media about things. But here's an issue. No, just because your child was sitting in front of you at a Kingdom Hall on a Sunday or a Tuesday or Thursday night meeting doesn't mean your child was safe, or that person in your congregation you might be looking over and saying, you know, there's little Sally or whatever, and thinking, oh, what a nice family and everything. And then all of a sudden, something happens and that family's gone, poof, and you wonder what happened to them. Well, here's an issue. Okay? Them children, not all of them are safe. Because the Watchtower hides pedophiles. And a lot of the pedophiles are elders. There's women that molest and just people of the congregation that molest, that are men too. But the majority, seriously, are elders. I know of cases personally of elders. One elder who molested his daughter and others. And his buddies that were also elders from other congregations chipped in on doing the molesting. It's pretty sick. They don't think molestation is a crime. They think it's just a sin. A governing body member, Jeffrey Jackson, went on the witness stand and he said it was a sin. And, they talked about how they leave it in Jehovah's hands. Well, here's how they leave it in Jehovah's hands, people. Okay? And tell me your heart is okay with letting the Watchtower, that tower that dictates people's lives, okay, should still stand in New York City, where 9/11 happened and they didn't even offer any help for all the victims of the Twin Towers when they fell. Okay? They tell. When a little child goes up and tries to tell and say something, even though most don't because they're feared, because of evil tactics, evil words, abuse, even cases where I've heard a girl was kept like in a hole in a wall where she was molested by her stepfather. There's lots of cases. There's a story of a young girl. She was 11 years old, molested for 5 years. She finally went to an elder, other than her father, who was an elder, to say she was being abused and being touched in inappropriate ways. And what did that elder do? No comfort to her. He started molesting her too. There's thousands of cases, thousands of videos, people giving stories, writing books. Court cases, you can look them up yourself. Australia, Royal Commission, back to that, over 1,000 cases unreported. It's in Europe and Canada. Russia's already banned them. Wow. It's awesome. More places need to start banning them. Over 10,000 cases of child molesters here in the United States. And it goes even further than that. They have a 2-witness rule where if there wasn't a second witness, it didn't happen. They will take a child, a little girl. I'll give you, say, an example. A little 5-year-old girl. And she gets put into this room. And they take the accuser and put him in the room. They give her a piece of paper and some drawing material and ask her to draw pictures of what happened to help, because maybe her memory, maybe she dreamt it. Maybe it really didn't happen. How do you know it happened? There wasn't really a witness. They actually talk like that. Psychologically mess with a child's brain and mess you up. And they have the accuser ask the child questions. And they will sweep it under the rug and just tell the parents, don't bring this to the police. Just leave it in Jehovah's hands and he'll take care of the matter. Okay? And a lot of parents will agree to this. And that's messed up because there's such a psychological issue wrong with the witnesses and with the way they do their theocratic warfare, theocratic teachings. You might wonder what theocratic warfare is and theocratic teachings. It's a word that a Jehovah's Witness is going to hear a lot of times, along with the word organization, along with the word obey, along with the word Jehovah thrown in quite a few times, but governing body and obey, okay? And doctrine and theocratic warfare and new light are words they hear a lot, along with the hush. Don't bring reproach upon Jehovah's name. Don't make Jehovah's name look bad. Right now, some of the witnesses are starting to leave and wake up to what's going on. Others aren't, and we're trying to vastly wake up the public because we need to save these children. We need to help them. We need to stop this ring of pedophiles. They don't go to the police. They call the law department in New York, their headquarters in Warwick. The reason we're going there, they have a computer database that has them in there. And there's reasons they have them in there for God knows what, and also for the reasons of they can say, oh, this happened 10 years ago. It's reached statute of limitations. We know when this incident happened. They have secret envelopes and files. Okay? And if the police get involved because someone decides to go to the police, that family is usually kicked out of the congregation and shunned because they want to keep it hushed. So that child sitting there in that seat across from you or next to you might not be a safe child, might be a child that's contemplating suicide because they can't understand why when they're praying to Jehovah that he doesn't want to help and stop, and that he doesn't like them because that, is just an evil beyond evils. My heart, I'm telling you what, it's fuming. It's mad. It's madder than HE double hockey sticks, I can tell you. And it's heartbreaking, and I'm upset, and I cannot handle this. How can you handle this and sleep at night knowing that your neighbors that just happen to be Jehovah's Witnesses, oh, them kids over there, they could be getting beaten. They could be getting molested. They have to listen to, I know when I was a kid, I had to listen to my cassette tapes of Bible studies. Not only did I have my book of Bible studies, I had to read it and study it and had questions asked over and over again till finally I had the book memorized and everything. And I could say, oh, the book about Noah and the whale, I know where that's at. Oh, the ark. And all of this stuff, because they have teachings there where they try to coerce children by using Noah's ark and Noah's time to get us to believe in the preaching work. Noah preached and preached and preached in his day and in his time, and he kept building that ark, and it took many years. But everyone laughed at Noah and his family and said, oh, your God's not going to make it rain. And oh, what happened? It rained, and they were begging and banging and trying to get in there, but they couldn't get in. And that's how, stories, but the stories go, worse than that. That's just a quick little analogy of them trying to get us to do preaching work. But also in my book of Bible stories, there's rapes and deaths and, over 90 actually. Yeah, like, wow. So there was quite a bit of stories in there because I remember learning a lot about Abe and, and Caleb and, the good brother and the brother that wanted to kill the other brother and different things. But anyhow, I would have to listen to those when I would spend the night at my grandma's, my mom's side. And those would play over and over again. And then, the tape cassette player at the foot of the bed. Well, head I meant. But anyway, so it's crazy. And now when I go to bed, I'm usually listening to some podcast or someone's YouTube video or helping out in activism some way to try to stop this madness and this craziness. A bunch of us grew up ex-JWs, and some want us to shush and not make a big stink and big deal. But, We need to. We all need to get together. Everybody. Not even Jehovah's Witnesses. But let's see if we could get, ex-cult members from all over, Scientology, Catholics, whatever. We all need to step up, and we all need to speak up, and we all need to do something. We all want the army to protect us and to protect our children so they can have a good life and a good upbringing, And some don't even get a chance to go to college, and have the opportunities we have here in America, people. And just like there's lots of kids that are scared now because they might be getting deported, and they're afraid because of that, because America's all they've ever known. There's just many different things and issues. And yes, my heart goes out to all of them too. But this is an issue we can stop. We can stop the Watchtower altogether. If people stop supporting the Watchtower, stop giving them money. They don't even help the poor. They wear their Apple gold watches. You can find the videos and you can find pictures of them. No, they're not being photoshopped, okay? They pay thousands of dollars to lawyers. They've been paying off lawsuits left and right. Watchtower property goes up for sale. Selling parking lots and other different things, and Watchtower buildings going up, $16 million for one building, over 300 million something for another building, going by the real high cost of the square footage. And what are they doing with all this money, And these children, that's the main issue. So we all need to band together because children should not have to grow up in fear. A child should not have to worry and feel that there is a God that hates them, should not ever have to go through any of that. That child should be able to grow up, have a wonderful life, know what a birthday is, and, hey, have his stories to tell his kids what happened, when he was on the track team and he got, met this girl for the first time. Say it was I'm just using an analogy, of a guy maybe that's, 39 and telling his son who's got his first crush all about his first crush and how he fumbled and how he fell and was so embarrassed, and different things. But those children of the Watchtower mostly have stories to say, oh, this convention and that convention and this Bible study, and they have to try to get their schoolwork done, but as long as they can graduate up to high school, but that's it because that's mandatory, see? But if high school and graduating up to like the 12th grade wasn't a mandatory thing for, most places, in the United States, then I guarantee Watchtower probably wouldn't even want anyone getting an education us of that far. But back to the point, starting at 11/4/2017 and 11/5, the big day where we're all going to meet at this park and we're all going to be having our protest signs and banners up, and we're all going to be marching to knock on their door because we want to do it, a civil. We don't want to bring any harm upon anyone. We just want to bring awareness. Hey, Watchtower, not only do you have blood on your hands, you have pedophiles on your hands. We want to know why you allow people to die with self-sacrifice when we know it goes against the Bible. I'm not here to preach, but if you know your Bible, or if you've known or heard stories of the Bible, that it does not want us to give self-sacrifice. It wants, the actual opposite. So we want to know why you are allowing people to die. And they're actually collecting money off of the no blood things too, by the way. So why don't you guys look that up? And we also want to know why you keep harboring and hiding pedophiles and you don't go to the police. And your number one thing is not to show mercy, not to show love, not to show unconditional love and gratitude to the people and to the children for their protection. But yet, your duty is to collect their money for your pockets and your wallets and your security and your peace with all your conditions. So if you want to help out, share this video, get the word out, and join us in Warwick, or New York. Sorry, I can't. It's just my anyway, voice is getting a little hoarse. I hope I'm not going to be getting sick. But join us in New York, in Warwick on 11/5/2017. Let's bring this tower down and stop this with these older men and the pedophile paradise they have going on with bloody hands.